Welcome into First Pitch for Monday, August 5th. We got Teddy Covers, Dave Cokin. We're breaking down the Monday night card. Dave, like always, my co-host, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good. Had a good day yesterday with a surprising comeback in the ninth inning by the Dodgers. Doesn't happen often against Yates, but I'll take that. Oakland was a winner. It's been a really steady in baseball, and I'm pretty happy with that. And I do have a free play today that we will talk about in a little bit on this show.
Absolutely. Dave's been good in MLB, also good in college football the last 2 years. He is leading Wager Talk, and he's got his 5% play up for week one. So check that out at the website. And I did say my co-host, I'm stepping in for Prez for the next 2 days or so on the show. So hopefully you'll join us tomorrow as well. And today's other co-host, Mr. Teddy Covers, goes without too much of an introduction. Most people know him already. He's got a top play up at sportsmemo.com. Teddy, happy Monday morning to you.
I don't know. Dave's an A-lister, man. Dave's if you're going to put our brands next to each other, my brand's pretty good. But Cokin is Cokin's been around longer than me, and there aren't that many guys who have been around longer than me. His brand's on fire. And, of course, Gabe's having a great baseball season, so we'll give him all the credit in the world. Although I did have a right side winner yesterday with the Indians run line. We'll see if we can keep it rolling with a single best bet tonight.
Good stuff, Teddy. And we can talk about brands. It's two big brands here with Teddy Covers and Dave Cokin. Hopefully you can find some winners on today's slate. We do have a coupon code for you. Pitch, P-I-T-C-H, at sportsmemo.com. You can get Teddy Covers or myself, Drew Martin's top plays for tonight for only $5. Keep in mind, it is $9 Monday, so all plays at Sports Memo and Wager Talk discounted to just $9. And with that coupon code on Teddy's top play and myself, Drew Martin's top play, you can get each of those for just $5 using the coupon code PITCH at checkout. That's P-I-T-C-H. Guys, let's start off top of the board here.
I have one more promotional note. The show I host, the Las Vegas Sports Line, which airs 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific time on weekdays. ESPN Las Vegas, online, lbsportsnetwork.com. On Friday, this could be, if you're a college football bettor and you don't listen on Friday, you're an idiot. Teddy and myself and Kenny White, who was the odds maker for the country for many years and is just a great college football analyst. Teddy, that's going to be a dynamite show. I mean, I can't wait because
yeah, I'm with you.
You and I are both pretty solid, but you throw Kenny into the mix. I think we're going to have some good information for all listeners on Friday. So make sure and listen.
Yeah, I'm with you. And now look, when it comes to a guy that knows personnel in college football, Kenny White legitimately goes through every player on every team all summer. I've seen his scratch pad. Yeah, the guy has an insane amount of knowledge. And I'm sure he'll drop some.
He power rates players.
Yeah. Which
is, that's about as in-depth as it gets.
Yeah. But certainly a guy who, Kenny White has been a fixture in the Las Vegas sports betting community for the better part of the last 40 years.
Yes.
Should be a big show on Friday. Looking forward to that, Dave.
All right, guys, let's go. 903, 904, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh. Lyles on the hill for the Brewers. Minus 140-ish price tag, total of 10. Dave, you want to start us off?
Well, I think Jordan Lyles probably be excited about this. He's had a weird season. Starts off, his team wins 8 out of 9, and then they lose 8 straight, and now he ends up in Milwaukee and pitches very well in his first start out. They're going to use him differently than the Pirates did, which has a lot to do with the fact that Craig Counsell is a good manager and Clint Hurdle is not. Okay, I'll be nice about it. I'll say not. Lyles should be really excited about this prospect of going back into Pittsburgh and throwing 5 or 6 innings, tops, depending on his pitch count, and then he'll be out of there. Agrazal had, I think, what you could call some good fortune early. He doesn't miss many bats. I think he's a very marginal prospect. Don't know that he's going to be a fixture in the Pirates rotation for years to come. The number's gone way up on this. I think they opened it too low. I think 116 was kind of a dirt cheap opener. The market took full advantage of it and moved it into the 140s, where it's really not I wouldn't say playable at that price, but the Brewers should have been priced higher than they were in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to make a case for the Pirates right now. And we've seen a fair bit of market support for Pittsburgh at home on this homestand. We saw it all weekend against the Mets that the Pirates were taking money. You know, Pittsburgh's lost their last 7 series. They're 4-18 in their last 22 ball games. They've got a second-tier hurler on the hill, and they're going against a guy who, here's the quote from Jordan Lyles after getting traded and having a solid first start. Quote, a breath of fresh air, a new start, a division race, new life, I guess you could say. Pitched well in his debut. I wouldn't be surprised if he pitched well against tonight. It'd be Milwaukee or pass for this better.
Good stuff, Teddy. Nice quote there. We got Miami, New York Mets up next. Duger versus Lockett in the nightcap here.
It's actually flipped. It's the second game of a doubleheader, so we're going to skip that anyway. And they flip pitchers. Alcantara's going to work the second game now against Lockett. So, and we don't know what the lineups will be, and we never talk about back ends of doubleheaders. So.
Okay. Another game that we won't know the lineup for is Philadelphia, Arizona. Vince Velasquez versus Merrill Kelly. Total of 10. Pretty much pick 'em price here, Teddy. What are you thinking Phillies versus the D-backs?
So prior to his last start, Velasquez made an adjustment and said, "Oh, I got it. I'm figuring it out." And then he pitched fairly well. The Phillies, I mean, they had a bad weekend at home against the White Sox. They couldn't do anything right. I had them on the run line on Friday, and they had left 15 guys in scoring position, ended up losing in 15 innings. I mean, it was just that kind of weekend for Philly. I think leaving town, probably a good thing for the Phillies. And I think Velasquez right now he's had so many bad starts that if he has a little bit of solid current form, there's going to be value on the guy. There's no value on Kelly. Kelly's a bottom-tier starter for Arizona. They continue. He hasn't won any of his last 8 trips to the hill. He's got an ERA over 6. The D-backs have been losing at home all year long. You know, I really have no interest in Arizona in this price range with this pitching matchup. It'd be Phillies or pass for this better.
Yeah, that Friday game was the craziest game I've seen. I won't say ever, but it's in the top 10. That's a game where Velasquez, Phillies ran out of pitchers. They ended up with Roman Quinn pitching the last 2 innings.
And Velasquez making plays out in the left field.
Yeah, and Velasquez putting on a show in left field with 2 great throws, one which nailed a runner at the plate and the other which just missed, and a great catch as well. So it was just an insane game. Boy, the Phillies are a bad baseball team right now, but so's Arizona. They'll have the occasional explosive game where all the bats come together, and Escobar and Andrew Jones, or Adam Jones, I should say, and Marte, and they all hit at the same time. But Merrill Kelly's going bad. Teddy mentioned he hasn't won in ages. The team has lost his last 6 starts. His last 2 starts have been really bad. And Velasquez, the flip side is Velasquez, and this is just, it's one of those numbers that just jumps out to me, and I just don't like betting on pitchers like this. His hard hit percentage is 47%. That's 47% of batted balls have been exit velocity of 95 or higher. And if you look at his recent starts, it's been even worse than that. So, I mean, those guys are high risk to me. If I had to make the play, I think I'd probably lean Phillies, but there's just not enough here for me to bet it.
I'm with you on Philadelphia, especially of late since the All-Star break. Their bullpen's gotten a lot healthier, and you can see it in their numbers. Strikeout to walk rate out of the relievers, #1 in MLB since the All-Star break. I got Philadelphia's bet on as well. We got Washington, San Francisco Giants up next. Fitty on the hill, 8.5 the total. Seeing Samardzija commanding about a -125-ish price tag here. Dave, you got any interest in betting the Nats and the Giants?
No, the line's caught up to Samardzija, who's pitching very well. This is the best stretch he's had in quite some time. He said 5 of his last 6 starts have been really good. But the thing is that Samardzija was being priced as a bad pitcher and was still being priced as a bad pitcher, and there was some money to be made on him. But now that's no longer the case. And the Giants, honestly, the Giants shouldn't be $1.25 favorites against the Nationals. I'm not going to bet Washington here. It's not a great scheduling spot for them. Although the Giants are coming out of Colorado, so it's not a great scheduling spot for them either. Eric Fetty's actually been pretty good on the road, and he's not bad the first couple of times through the rotation, through the order, I should say. So Fetty's a guy who could benefit from the fact the Nationals now have what would appear to be a better bullpen. Now, whether Dave Martinez can manage them properly remains to be seen. I don't know why he brought Wander Suaro into the game yesterday, who's really shouldn't be used in any key situations now, but, that's Dave Martinez. Value is with the Nationals here, but as of now, not a play for me. Although if the line keeps ticking up, I might just have to bet it just purely on the value spectrum.
Not me. I can only play the home team in this game because San Fran, it's not just Samardzija. The Giants are live right now. Since the All-Star break, the Giants have been a good baseball team. And the markets have taken their time to assess that. And you say Samardzija is being overpriced right now. He's $1.20 at home. The guy's been an ace his last 6 starts. The Giants are 5-1. He's allowed a total of 9 runs during that span. And he's been consistently good. So when you have a hurler who is dominating opposing pitchers, a team that's playing good ball, going up against a team that's been scuffling a little bit with a second-tier starter on the hill, I think the price is very reasonable with San Fran. I can understand why the money's coming to the Giants. To be Giants or pass for this better.
Good stuff, Teddy. We got St. Louis Cardinals, LA Dodgers up next in the nightcap. Waka on the hill for St. Louis and Gonsolin on the hill for the Dodgers. I believe this is Ryu's spot here. He's getting called up from AAA. Minus 155, the Dodgers at home. Total of 9 or 9.5, depending where you're shopping, Teddy. Any interest in the get-back game tonight?
This is one I'm not likely to be involved with. Gonsolin's a guy who they're auditioning him now for the postseason roster. The Dodgers are doing some of that, and with Ryu, as you mentioned, he's only supposed to miss 1 start in the rotation. So it's here's Gonsolin getting a shot, and he's likely to get set banked out to AAA after the game. His quote: "I feel like every opportunity is a chance to showcase yourself, root for yourself, try to earn a postseason roster spot, but it's not in my control. I just got to do the best I can." Every time I go out there. It's not like St. Louis has played good ball of late. It's not like the Dodgers are a team we want to be betting against at home. And it's not like Waka has shown any signs of being this guy had ace-level potential early in his career, and then he had a series of injuries, and, he's just not the same hurler right now. So it's not like I'm excited about the St. Louis side here. On the other hand, you're laying this price with the Dodgers every game at home right now, and they're certainly not playing inspired baseball. We saw them rally from behind last night, but I don't trust LA with this second-tier hurler on the hill in this price range. There's not that. I'm not seeing that Dodgers intensity of late.
No, neither am I. I think the price is about right. I made it 155, so that's where it is. 155, 160. So that pretty much is a no play right out of the gate. Don't have any interest in Waka. Gonsolin, I'm not sure he's ready yet. His 1 start was really bad. He did have 1 relief performance that was better. He's got potential. The Dodgers like him as a guy who will be in their rotation down the road, but not convinced he's worthy of being this big of a favorite now. Cardinals got Matt Carpenter and Ozuna back over the weekend. Carpenter's had a terrible season, so I'm not sure what he's going to contribute. Ozuna should be a plus for them. But they lose O'Neill, who'd been hitting the ball very well for them. And the Cardinals just can't get it together. But nevertheless, they're still very much in the playoff race. So you can argue, if you're just looking from an incentive standpoint, maybe the Cardinals have a little bit of an edge here because these are all very big games for them. The Dodgers are in coast mode right now. But I'm not getting enough of a price to make it interesting, and it's too big a price for me to lay. So that's a pass.
Good stuff there, Dave, on the Ozuna being back in the lineup this weekend. Cards might be a bet going forward. But, guys, remember the coupon code PITCH, P-I-T-C-H, at sportsmemo.com. You can get Teddy Covers top play right now, a slugfest for only $5. You can also get my Pick'em Pounder for Monday night for only $5, or get both using the coupon code PITCH, P-I-T-C-H, at checkout. We got the American League slate right now. New York Yankees, Baltimore Orioles. Tanaka on the hill for the Yankees, commanding a minus 250 price tag here, Dave. 10.5 the total. This one in Camden Yards. Big price tag here. I'm guessing you're not involved.
And you are wrong.
Ah, nice.
Drum roll, this will be the free play. It's a situational scheduling spot. look, I'm not going to try and make a case for anything positive on the Orioles side. They're a terrible team. They do go out there and try, and we'll give him that. I don't know, he's had a few games where he's been okay and some others where he's been just horrible. And against this lineup, you would think he might have some troubles. But first of all, he's not facing the Yankees A lineup because they've got injury issues again. They played a doubleheader on Saturday, the night game on Sunday, all against their rivals, the Red Sox. They get the sweep. They can really be in relaxed mode right now because the American League East is done. Okay, they're 8 games up on Tampa. Boston's finished. So there's reason for the Yankees to kind of relax. And you couple that with Tanaka, who, regardless of who he's facing right now, I think is impossible to justify as a favorite of this magnitude. He is not pitching well. He's got mechanical issues that they're trying to fix. Whether they have success or not, we'll have to wait and see. Now, I don't want, if this is close late, I certainly don't want the Orioles because their bullpen is not good, and the Yankees' bullpen can be dominant. But I think you've got a chance to catch the Yankees a little bit flat here. I know that's generally something we talk more about in football or basketball or hockey, but it exists in baseball as well. And if there's a dead spot for the Yankees, this is probably it. At this price, now if they'd pick them or something like that, I would never even consider it. But getting plus 200 or thereabouts for the first 5 innings, I think that's worth a shot. This is a good gamble to me. And I took the Orioles first 5, and I'm happy with the bet. We'll see how it works out.
Nice, Dave.
Yeah. And frankly, I agree 100% with your assessment of how to look at the Yankees. This is a team with 16 guys on the injured list. All right, more. I mean, all weekend. Let's add another guy. Coming off a huge series sweep. It's the mother of all flat spots. As you said, a doubleheader on Saturday, Sunday night game. If you do nothing but fade the Yankees and the Red Sox, the first game after they play each other in their next series, go back and look at that track record 5 years. You made a whole lot of money using a comparable strategy. And for what it's worth, the Orioles have won 3 straight series. They're 14-14 their last 28 games. If Baltimore plays 500 baseball, you'll make a fortune with them because they're $2 underdogs just about every day.
That's a good point, Teddy. I mean, just as far as betting Baltimore and just big plus underdogs down the stretch, I mean, in years past, is that a profile that you've looked to bet and take advantage of? Or do you find a lot of times these teams just kind of go off in the yonder and losses tend to pile up?
When you have a bad team that is playing better baseball, they are money winners. When the next team we're going to talk about is a bad team that's not playing good baseball. They're not money winners. But when you find a squad that's playing 500 level baseball and they're 30 games under 500, those are the type of teams you can really make money with. Same story with a team that has a 600 winning percentage plus, and then they have a September collapse. And they're $2 every day. We all remember the Red Sox collapse a few years back. I'm sure Dave does. Where they're minus 280 every day and they're losing 8 out of 10. The Dodgers, was that last year or 2 years ago? They lost 15 out of 16 and they were $3 every day and minus 250 every day. That can and will happen. And if you jump in early, you can make a fortune with some of these streaks.
I think the best month I ever had in any sport was that Red Sox collapse.
Huh?
He's no longer with us, but a very good friend of mine who unfortunately died from Lou Gehrig's disease. He was well connected with the team, let's put it that way. And he had told me in late August, he says, this clubhouse is a mess. These guys don't like each other. He told me about the fried chicken and beer before it hit before it became public. He said, you can't believe what's going on here. And I started betting against the Red Sox blind every day. And boy, did that work out. It was a monster month. I actually literally bought a new car just from that month.
Nice, man. Good stuff, Dave. Guys, we got Chicago White Sox, Detroit Tigers up next. Giolito versus Turnbull. 8.5 the total. Minus 120-ish here. The White Sox on the road at the Tigers. Teddy, you were just talking about, I'm guessing towards the Tigers, a team that might be you might be writing them off here towards the end. Is that true?
Yeah, the Tigers. I mean, when you have a bottom feeder team that is in complete free fall, I mean, you either bet against them, you bet against them on the run line, or you leave the game alone. I want no part of Detroit. Their home record is the worst in baseball, like Baltimore's was last year. How many? What have they won? They've won 4 games since the All-Star break. 5. I mean, it's bad baseball all around. You know, the starting pitching's bad, the relief pitching's bad. They can't hit their way out of a wet paper bag, and they're being priced competitively here against a White Sox team that just won 2 out of 3 on the road over the weekend. They're playing good ball. Just beat up on Philly. No reason to think they can't beat up on Detroit. And of course, Giolito is the one White Sox hurler who attracts some betting market attention. We've seen that today, but Detroit at home. There's only one way to bet this team, and that's to fade them every chance you get.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with that. In fact, I'm amused, I guess is the right word, by the line movement in this game. Money's actually on Detroit. And, you know, considering the public, certainly not public money, let's put it that way. I like Turnbull. I think he's a guy who's going to be in their rotation for years to come. In fact, I've said this before. I think the Tigers, within the next couple of years, particularly since they didn't trade Matt Boyd, are going to have a really good rotation with Mize and Manning on the way up. Boyd, Turnbull, who at the back end of the rotation, I think will be a good pitcher. But the team itself, that's about all I can say positive about Detroit, because the team itself is a AAA baseball team with a couple of exceptions. They are truly horrendous. They're not going to win 50 games on this season. They're not going to make it to 50. And I basically can't bet a team like that ever, especially at a price like this. I'm not advocating the White Sox here. Giolito hasn't been as good lately. The innings might be starting to pile up. He certainly is. His numbers third time through the order are starting to go the other way, and that's a really good indication that a pitcher might be tiring. So there might be really good spots to go against Giolito down the stretch, because he is the one who gets the most respect from bettors on the White Sox staff. But this isn't one of them.
And Dave, next game up, we got the Kansas City Royals with Montgomery on the hill coming from the left side versus the Boston Red Sox. Rick Porcello, a guy that we've talked about on this show before, I know you know a lot about, minus 200 and minus 250, excuse me. It's getting kicked up now, 11.5 being the total. And Dave, we've talked about it. Porcello has not been good, but the Red Sox score for him. However, the Red Sox been on a bit of a losing streak here, so this is a tricky handicap. How do you feel?
They've lost 8 in a row, and their season's pretty much over. You know, they beat the Yankees 3 straight, lost on Sunday, and then went over this past week against Tampa and the Yankees. I think their season's over. Porcello, the best pitch he's made in the last 2 months was after the first inning of his last start, where he punched out 2 monitors in the Red Sox dugout. Boom, like that, and he frazzled them both. He is a mess right now. The flip side is Mike Montgomery. He's terrible, and I want no part of him. The Royals are an awful team. There's no possibility I'm playing this game. The market's pounding the Red Sox. It's open about $2. It's up to $2.50. Not with my money. No thanks.
Teddy,
it's in some ways, and baffling is not the right word, or knee-jerk is not necessarily the right word, but it's baffling knee-jerk money right here. The Red Sox stink, okay? Porcello has the second worst ERA among qualified pitchers in Major League Baseball, okay? He's allowed 6 runs or more in 4 of his last 6 starts, and he's what? You know, minus 260 in some spots right now? Not with my money, especially off the series against the Yankees. You know, again, you can do a lot worse. There are a lot worse strategies out there than fade the Yankees and the Red Sox immediately after they play each other. First game out, I want no part of Boston in this price range. Of course, if you're taking the Royals, it does require a leap of faith, but, you know, leap of faith with a dog is a lot better than a leap of faith with a 250 favorite.
We got Toronto and Tampa Bay up next, NL East matchup here. Charlie Morton on the hill for Tampa, meaning they're commanding about another minus 250 favorite here, total of 8. Teddy, we just talked about Boston losing pretty much every game last week. Now we're talking about Tampa winning almost every game last week with Charlie Morton on the hill. I think Tampa Bay is a one-way team here for pretty much the full month of August. When you look at their schedule, they don't play very many good teams at all. In my opinion, they make the playoffs. How are you betting the Rays going forward?
Well, I mean, this is the longest winning streak they've had all year, Tampa right now. So they haven't been a team that's been able to put together these extended stretches of excellence. That being said, it's not about winning streaks. It's about how we're looking at the Rays right now. And the Rays are certainly, their lineup's clicking. You know, their pitching's been there all year. I do worry about the long-term effects of Snell and Glasnow both being on the injured list for long. You know, I wonder if eventually that bullpen will wear down. But as long as they're hitting the way they've hit over the last week, where they scored, 7+ in almost every game, Tampa's a bet-on squad right now. And certainly, you know, Toronto, I'm not going to say they've shown signs. They've been okay. They haven't been as bad of late. And actually, their lineup's hitting a little bit too, which could make things interesting if you're talking about laying a run and a half with Tampa. The Rays aren't a squad that at home in this total range I'd necessarily want to play on the run line. And that means I'm probably not going to get involved in the game, at least not from a side standpoint, because Tampa, again, when you start talking about laying these minus 260s with the Rays, you know, it doesn't take many of those to go south before all of a sudden, you know, I mean, do you ever lay 260, Dave? I never lay 260.
Rarely.
Yeah.
Very rarely. Just one, nothing to say on the game. The Rays should win. I'm not going to play it. Just one thing on the Blue Jays. I do like the young talent that they're putting in the lineup now, the sons of the big league stars. Guerrero, Biggio, Bichette, and these kids are already contributing. Since there's no more non-waiver deadline, what the hell is Smoke doing in the lineup? He stinks. He's hitting 208, and he's not going to win any awards on defense. I mean, just get him out of there. If you're going to play kids, just play him. Smoke should be at the end of the bench, or I guess the money, they probably can't DFA him, but he's terrible right now, and they got him hitting in the middle of the order. It's like, are you trying to win games or not? So that's all I've got to say on the Blue Jays. A modest proposal. Stop playing Justin Smoke.
And they are playing hard. Good point. They've hit a little bit of late as well. Guys, we got one American League game left, and then interleague games to finish it off here on tonight's slate. Texas, Cleveland up next. Mike Minor coming from the left side. And getting a big plus price here. The Rangers are in Cleveland. Cleveland laying about minus 160, 9.5 the total. Dave, what are you thinking here, Rangers and Indians?
Yeah, I can kind of see the big price because Mike Minor he's declining right now. His last 5 starts, his average game score, we talk about these sometimes, it's 44. So kind of looks like the innings have started to pile up on him. And he's good 2 times through the order. But after that, he's terrible. So the Texas bullpen will probably have to work in this game, and the late inning would therefore favor Cleveland by a pretty good margin. If you're going to play this one, I think you hope that the Rangers get ahead early against Savali, which is a possibility. He's a rookie. He's had 1 start. It was very good on paper. But if you watched him, his stuff it's so-so. He doesn't have dominant stuff. This would be a game I might have interest in if Cleveland falls behind early, to try and do a live bet, because I think the Indians might have a pretty big advantage late in the game.
That makes a ton of sense to me, Dave, as well. I mean, look, Cleveland right now is a one-way team. If I'm not betting on the Indians as they step down in class, I'm not going to be involved in the game. Cleveland's hitting. You know, I cashed with them on the run line yesterday. They've been, cashing run lines day in, day out over the course of the last week. And, for much of the season, it was a little bit of an underachieving lineup. That's not the case here in early August. And when you have a good lineup going against a pitcher who has strong season-long stats, but the current form isn't anywhere near what those season-long stats are showing, that's value on the favorite, at least for this better.
Guys, we got interleague matchups here, 3 of them in a row to finish off the card. We got the Angels and Reds. P. Sandoval coming from the left side versus Luis Castillo. Minus 200 price tag here on the Reds. 9.5 the total. And Dave, want to read a tweet from our friend Ralph Michaels. Teams with losing records post All-Star break that are minus 200 favorites, like Cincinnati is today. So post All-Star break, minus 200 favorites and above. They've gone 18-3 the last 2 seasons. So that would point towards Cincinnati tonight. You see any credence in that trend?
Well, I do in this game because Castillo's a dominant pitcher and making matters worse for the Angels as they haven't seen him. So good luck figuring out his changeup. I guess the Angels are going to open with Cole and then go to whoever they're bringing in after that. And, I mean, it's over for the Angels. 3 more guys on the DL. Felix Pena, who actually had been pretty serviceable for them. That's a torn ACL. He's done. Andrelton Simmons is hurt again, which is a big loss to their lineup offensively and defensively. And somebody else went on the DL as well, and I can't think of who it is. But the Angels they're sliding right now. They're a game under 500. I don't think I can. Can I lay $2 with the Reds? Their offensive inefficiency tells me no. They are playing a little better baseball lately, but we've said all year the Reds are a pretty good team on paper that hasn't lived up to billing. It's still Ralph Sangle notwithstanding. I just can't lay $2, but that's the only side I'd play.
Yeah, I mean, the Angels had a really bad weekend.
Oh, boy.
If it could go wrong, it did go wrong consistently all weekend long. Now mired in an East Coast trip for a team that's slumping. I'm with you 100%, Dave. I want no part of the dog in this one. And you don't trust the Reds lineup enough to lay a run and a half with Cincy. It's not like you're like, all right, well, this is a team that I know they're going to score runs in bunches. They haven't scored runs in bunches at any point this season. So pretty clear pass for this better.
Guys, 2 games left. Remember the coupon code PITCH, PITCH, at checkout, sportsmemo.com for Teddy's top play or Drew Martin, myself's top play at sportsmemo.com for only $5. Coupon code PITCH at checkout. Also check out Wager Talk. Dave Cokin has a free play up there. Also his week 1 college football play. Last 2 years at Wager Talk, Dave Cokin is number 1 on the leaderboard. We got 925, 926. Oakland, Chicago Cubs, Bassett versus Hendricks. Hendricks and the Cubs minus 155-ish favorites. Total at 10 here, Dave. And I'll tell you, Bassett has home road splits, but I think you got to dig a little bit deeper because on the road he's been at Houston, at Minnesota, kind of better lineups here, whereas at home it's more of the likes of the Chicago White Sox type of lineup. I think, both teams have been very good of late. Both pitchers pretty good of late as well. This under might be worth a look. However, wind at Wrigley. I've also read some reports that it might be changing later today. You got any view on this game, A's versus Cubs?
Slight value in Oakland, but there's some red flags for me. One is that I think they're going to have to put Chris Davis in the outfield if they want his bat in the lineup. Or they might just sit him because he's not like he's hitting the ball the way they like him to. He's only got 17 homers. But that boy in Wrigley, not sure you want a guy who's a real liability with the glove in the field. So that's one of those little things that most people won't look at, but I kind of do. Hendricks, this lineup hits righties, but Hendricks, boy, he's good against righties, and Hendricks is on a roll. I mean, he's healthy now, and his game score the last 4 starts average is 65. So he's in very good form. The Cubs playing great ball at home, terrible on the road, but really good at home. So even though I think there's maybe 10 cents of value on Oakland, I thought the line should have been in the 140 range. There's really not enough for me to go ahead and take the plunge here. I'm going to stay out of this game.
I mean, the A's are 14-7 since the All-Star break. They're 28-12 their last 40. This is a team that's playing good baseball and has played good baseball pretty consistently. As you talked about, Bassett's been pretty darn good. He's coming off a gem against the Brewers his last outing. He's got an ERA under 250 his last 4 starts. And while Hendricks has been good, the Cubs haven't won 4. The Cubs are 1-6 in his last 7 starts. They've scored 3 runs or less in all of those ball games. So I'm seeing a slight wind out to left. I'm seeing hot, hazy conditions. But yeah, these are 2 starters we might want to be on tonight. And the total is absolutely getting steamed up. And the wind's not, again, from what I've seen, the wind doesn't look crazy. Maybe you look at an under here.
Guys, last game up, we got the Atlanta Braves, Minnesota Twins interleague play here. Soroka versus Odorizzi going for the Twins. This one in Minnesota. Total of 10. Pretty much pick 'em price here. Seeing Braves as high as -110. Also seeing a -106 the other way on the Twins, depending where you're shopping. Teddy, you got any interest in being in the Braves and Twins tonight?
Well, I mean, the Braves go out and make these deadline deals to fix their bullpen. And they get, Shane Green from Detroit, and Green comes in and proceeds to blow his first two save opportunities in Atlanta. I don't know if it's an issue of, all right, I was playing and no one's paying attention to me, and now all of a sudden everyone's paying attention to me, or if it's just one of those things. But it's a Braves bullpen that continues to have issues despite the moves that they've made. And it's worth noting, in Minnesota, real good series over the weekend. They have a huge series against Cleveland coming up later this week. And here they are in between. And they switched the rotation just to get Odorizzi ready for today's game instead of pitching him yesterday against a lesser opponent. That, to me, speaks for the home team a little bit, especially giving Atlanta's bullpen concerns, despite the fact that Soroka has been dynamite all year long. And the Braves lineup continues to click on all cylinders.
And the Braves get to pick up a DH tonight, which is not a bad thing for them. The pitching edge to me is on Soroka. But this Twins team is not going away. Okay, they're still playing good baseball. 69-42. I mean, it's tough to go against a team and really good numbers at home. It's tough to go against a team putting up those kind of numbers. And the flip side is I'm not going against Mike Soroka. They just win when he pitches. And that's not to say that he's getting lucky. He's been that good. What is it here? 9-2 on the road. Going back to when he came up last year, the Braves are 19-5 in Soroka's 24 big league starts, including 15-4 this year.
Wow.
So that's a guy you just say, okay, fine, I'm not going against him. Now, can you make a case for the Braves? I think it's a marginal case because the Twins lineup is just killing the baseball. And they're even against a pitcher like Soroka, who's very good at getting ground balls and limiting the long ball. This Minnesota lineup's scary to me. I thought the opening line of the game was a little bit off with the Braves 115. I think it's about where it should be now at Pick'em. I mean, it's not a big adjustment, but it's enough of an adjustment to indicate maybe there was some value on the Twins early, but now there's not. So it's probably the game I want to watch tonight. I think it's the best game on the schedule, but it's not what I'm going to bet.
And Teddy, anything else you want to throw out in conclusion here before we shut this down?
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for having me. Always good to hang out with you and Mr. Cokin on a Monday morning.
All right, and Dave's got his college football Week 1 action up. He's got a free play at Wager Talk. Anything else you want to throw out there, Dave?
Nope, I think I'm good.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow.
I don't have anything funny to say this morning. So
everything worked
okay?
Okay?
Have to go with your looks then.
Yeah, really. Well, speaking of funny.
All right, guys, good stuff. Remember the coupon code PITCH at checkout, sportsmemo.com for Teddy's top play, or my top play at sportsmemo.com, PITCH at checkout. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with another First Pitch. Best of luck with your bets.